Hello, this video is going to go over the e-commerce mini cart, some of the features that you ought to be looking for with a mini cart. What exactly is the mini cart, of course, and some of the ideas that apply to different industries and some actual examples that we can take a look at with a mini cart in action. And then we'll go into kind of a very, very high level of how this ties into the rest of the application and how you can benefit from really having an adaptive and intelligent mini cart. Let's get started. Okay, so just to start us out, we're taking a look at a very simple mini cart. And here you can see that this is incorporated into the checkout section. So on the right, you'll see there's an order summary, and we can edit the cart if we want to. So we don't have the ability to edit it in line. And the reason for that is because this tends to reduce the conversion rate on the actual checkout page to make it such that folks can edit on the checkout page. There are a lot of analytics and kind of data setting that up and just kind of showing that that's the case. But if anyone does want to have these to be editable, it's certainly possible to turn that on. But just in general, you can see we have a listing of the items that are in the cart. And this can also include a quote cart as well that shows up in this order summary. But in this particular case, you can see we have the product, an image, possibly any kind of discount or sale price information showing. And for any discounts that are applied, you can see that the discount itself is shown with what the amount was that it was discounted by, and then the information about the discount name as well. The user then can also see the quantity and the overall total versus the price. By applying the quantity, you get the item total. Here's an example down here. And then ultimately, this is all totaled up. And then we apply dynamically any kind of discounts. And then where it's applicable, taxes, shipping, any kind of customs and duties fees are going to be applied. And then we can also incorporate additional visual elements, which we'll show in just a minute. And they can also apply a coupon code. Now, some customers prefer for this coupon code to be more discreet, so that it's not taking up real estate, and possibly so it's not as much of a kind of aggressive request for a coupon code. We also have some clients who have a rewards program and they want to highlight those rewards being applied to the account. Again, there can be all kinds of different things we can apply here. You can apply customer specific pricing and show the customer that based on them being this level of customer, they're actually getting this much of a discount on this checkout. The main thing here is that we want it to be a faithful representation of all of this information. Now, sometimes clients will also do some pretty interesting things where we'll have a bulk order, and this mini cart on the right needs to scroll vertically. That's not a problem. We can also show a summary, or we can show grouping of items. We can incorporate kits and variants into this and intelligently show the right data. And we can also show customized data. So there may be a specific custom order that someone has placed, and they need to see the details of that specific order. So let's kind of take a look at a more complex scenario that might be somewhat like that. In this particular case, you can see that the items under this order summary or mini cart, these items are collapsible, so they can be expanded to see detail. And we're getting a visual on the container load or the truck load and how full those are. So you can see this one's only at 90%. And then we're also going to see the size and ply, in this case for tires, and then the unit price, the item total based on the quantity, and then basically additional information or attributes about this item where applicable. Okay. And then we've got these kind of broken out into containers, but this is a list of all the items that are in this order, even though they're in separate physical fulfillment centers that are kind of basically multi-warehouse and multi-fulfillment location distribution model here. So ultimately, this is going to give us then a total. The total itself is accumulated from the subtotal, any kind of fees, and there for this particular scenario, there are going to be fees based on costs going up in the industry and those potentially getting applied to the order to offset some immediate short-term costs that occur, possibly other handling fees. And this can all be calculated dynamically and integrated from an ERP system or another line of business application as needed. In addition to that, we also have the shipping fee, any kind of handling fees, estimated taxes, and then any discounts applied. And so the user can also, as usual, they can go and view the cart if they need to. And then this allows them to see these different orders that are split out. We can also split things up, not just by fulfillment location, but also for scenarios like buy online, pick up in store. We can show that items are going to different locations in the mini cart. And we can also show that they're being fulfilled from different locations. And we can even include things like lead time, etc., so they can visually get this information. Another example that's pretty similar to this is here you can see this is a pretty standard mini cart, pretty simple on the right side of the screen here. But you can see that there's a consolidation and logistics fee, and then there's also a duty fee. So there can be customs and duties applied to these totals really easily so that the end user can see what the breakdown of the total cost is coming from. Okay, so just to wrap us up, I want to take a look at a few other examples here. And these are pretty standard. This is actually a really, really simple presentation here. And this particular mini cart is in use for a buying group. So this is going to be a pretty substantial amount of orders going through their system. And they just wanted to keep it really, really clean and simple. So you can see it's the cost, the quantity, and the item total, and a brief description. Now, many times clients will have us remove the link from the products, but we can also make these links clickable, the image clickable, etc. And then this just has a subtotal, tax, and shipping, and then a grand total. And here you can see that the discount code was removed. So you don't have to have the discount code in the mini cart. We can easily remove that. And then similarly, this is just a really nice, simple example. But for this particular customer, they have buy online, pick up in store. And you can see that they're really not doing anything special within the mini cart to deal with that. So it's up to you. If you want, we can incorporate a buy online, pick up in store model into that mini cart. And we'll take a look at another example here. You can see this example has, again, a very simple presentation. And then it also includes fees, estimated shipping, handling, and estimated taxes and discounts. So this is incorporating a lot into this kind of subtotal section, but a really simple and clean just kind of list of the items that are in the cart. Okay, let's take a look at a few more examples now. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a few examples that are more complex. This particular example is showing the user the option to be able to change where their delivery is going per item within the mini cart. And this is a really interesting option whenever you're doing buy online, pick up in store. And you can see that they can even change the store or update their address while they're in this multi-select option. They can also bulk select to ship all to home or ship all to store. So it's pretty interesting. They are also seeing the stock, the number of items in stock, if it's a store pickup. So that can be really helpful. And whenever the order is actually placed, they're going to be in a position where they can reserve these items. So these items will actually end up being pulled and put into a special location so that they won't get sold to someone else. Another example that is really interesting is we have a fairly standard mini cart here. You can see we have a few additional items or attributes. Now, in this case, there are no pictures. So we're just showing item number, NDC, UPC, manufacturer, and size. But then down at the bottom, you can see there's a promo that they're getting. And they also are seeing what their spend is additional that they would need to get a certain percentage off. And this is a really nice presentation. It's just a really simple, clean kind of percentage bar that they're seeing. Okay, so that concludes our review of the different mini carts. There's a lot that we can do with the mini carts that really, just for the sake of brevity, we're not going to go into the complete set of examples here. But suffice to say that we can do things with multilingual, multi-currency. We can do things with digital currencies, different forms of payment, different rewards programs, different information to promote the user to do something, possibly a countdown timer, an upsell opportunity. Really, the list goes on. And we want you to know that ultimately, at the end of the day, your business may be very specific and unique with what your needs are for the mini cart. If you have a specific need that we haven't covered in this video, or we haven't at least touched on, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to provide you with a complimentary discovery and complimentary strategy session so you can understand how your business might be able to take advantage of some of these capabilities. And of course, if we're not able to directly help you, we'll be happy to point you in the right direction so you find a great fit for your mini cart and other e-commerce needs. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.